podcast. I'm excited. I haven't really did a podcast interview for my podcast in a while. I've been doing some work on my veterans podcast lately, um, doing podcasts for those, but I haven't did a lot of my podcasting for my personal podcast. So I'm excited to be back on here and talk to my guest, Jessica Danelle. I don't know if I'm
Yes.
saying that right. I just asked her how to say it. Forgot already. But welcome to
You're
the show,
fine.
Jessica.
Well, thank you for having me. And yes, it is Danelle, Jessica Danelle. You got it right. So golden
Jessica,
star.
yes, man. Well, before we start, I love that background, those pictures and things like that. I'm
Thank
starting to look
you.
at it. I'm like, I have to pay attention to what she's saying because I'm just looking at the.
I know because it has okay, so it is, you can look it up. It's Life magazine, but it's a mural and they're individual pieces that you're supposed to wallpaper to the wall. And then at the very top, you can't see it and my camera's affixed, so I can't move it. But at the very top, it has a little red life, like as if it was like Life magazine. And these are
Okay.
all magazine covers. So is what I'm taking it is as. And there's Michael
Hmm.
Jackson, there's Schwarzenegger, there's Marilyn Monroe, there's Tupac, there's just uh, everybody that you love basically in pop culture
Hmm.
right by me. So,
So that's a cool background. I like it. I'm gonna have to steal that concept from you.
well, you can get it. You know, my husband is very handy. So, but he meticulously, and you have to put each one up, and they're not the easiest wallpaper to put up, and they're like a page size, so it's just like an 8 by 11. You get to pick the selection that you want. I mean, I think as you go higher, what you can't see, the pictures are really cool. And I love the ones that you can actually see. Those were my very favorite, and I put those right in the centers. But you know what? Just FYI, this was not something I did for because I have a podcast. This was not something I did for my podcast. I actually had my desk against the wall where the window was, and my
Wow.
not like everybody wants to hear this, but I was getting dust on my desk all the time, and I'm like, why is my desk so dusty and dirty? It's so gross. So I ended up moving it to this side wall that I really love because you can't see it, but I have my family pictures and stuff of all my kids. And then so I moved it, and then I was like, dang, look behind me. This is kind of cool. I didn't even think about it. Duh, like hello. And so there it goes. And I had this up since we moved here about 5 years ago. So and I just started my podcast. So anyways, it
Wow,
works
I
out.
like that a lot. Yeah, I like that. Those accidents that work out great. There's all the best ones. Jessica, where are you from?
I am from Northern California in a little small farming town called, well, I say this in my book too. It's really funny. When you say where you're from, you say Marysville, Yuba City. But where I'm really from is Linda, a little small town kind of on the outside. So but you don't know, you say Linda and they're like, what, my Aunt Linda? No, it's Linda. It's a town. You don't even know it. It's so small. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's always funny to me when people say like small towns in California because when I'm from Maryland and I live in Tennessee right now. So when I think of California, I always think of the big cities and stuff like that. So when people say like small towns in California, I'm like, does that even exist in California?
You know what? It's still a small town, but when I was there, okay, so it's called the Twin Cities, is what they called us, because
Okay.
Marysville, Yuba City. But then there was so there's Olivehurst, Linda,
Mhm.
and then Marysville, Yuba City, and all together back in the day when I lived there, it was about no more than 40,000 people combined all together. And so it's not that big. I mean, it sounds like a lot, but I mean, I live in the middle of California right now, and we're like, I think we're pushing 600,000 in Bakersfield.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Was that a huge adjustment moving to a bigger city, coming from a small town?
Well, okay, so when I was young, and I talk about this in my book. Okay, so I didn't have children, and I didn't have a guy like, oh, I got to stay in this town because my boyfriend's here. No, I jumped around all over California. I lived
Mm.
Fresno. I lived in Newport Beach. I lived in Huntington
Okay.
Beach. I actually bartended in Newport Beach and in Huntington Beach. I bartended. And then I moved to Palm Springs, and that's where I met my
Okay.
husband. And we both worked in a nightclub. He was the bartender and I was a cocktail server. And so that's where we met. And 28 years later, we're still together.
Wow, 28 years. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's a chore. No, I'm just teasing. No, I mean, okay, so marriage, hello, people, you have to compromise. You have to know your place. And I don't mean to say that like women, they have a place, but I kind of do in a way. I'm kind of an old school girl, and I
Hmm.
believe that my husband enjoys doing all of the things that are outside and the mechanical
Hmm.
stuff and the trash and the yard work and all of the things that
Hmm.
goes with that. And not that I enjoy it, but I'd much rather be inside cleaning,
Hmm.
cooking, doing the laundry, taking care of the kids than I would. And so he has a role and I have a role. And
Hmm.
funny thing is if he ever asks, he does sometimes, can I help? Is there something I can do? Like if we have guests coming over and we're trying to primp up the house, I'm like, I don't even know how to tell him what to do stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm like, just go hose the backyard off or something. Like don't help. It's okay. Anyways, I
That's
always get
cool.
off
That's
topic. I
cool.
can't
I
help
like
it.
it. No, no, it's fine. I love it. I love it a lot. So you talked about your book, and I want to get into that. What made you want to write a book, a memoir?
Yeah, memoir. Okay, so I've done a lot of things in my life and I talk about it in the book, but
Mm-hmm.
I've always I wear my personality on my sleeves, like legit how I'm talking is how I would talk to my best friends. And so
Hmm.
I am just an open book all the time. And I always say I wear my personality on my sleeves, but I always carry all my jokes and all my stories in my back pocket. And so my friends are always saying, "Man, you should write a book. That's crazy stories. You got I can't believe all that happened to you. That it can't be true." And I'm like, I Bible, it's so true. Like everything that happened to me is like legit the truth. And so one day I was just, because I do work and during the day, and there are some down times, when I'm waiting for an email to come in or stuff, and I'm just sitting here. So I just decided to write. I said, I'm just going to write a book. And I wrote all my stories down. I don't know, it was so much. And I did ask my mom for, like, maybe if I forgot something, and I asked my mom a few questions, like, what happened in this place and what happened? Because I do have a really
Hmm.
crappy memory, but I just picked the things were, um, that were most important in my life, things that happened to me that I feel shaped me into the person that I am today. Which, if you ask me what that is, I would have to say, how do I identify myself? I'm faithful to God. I am faithful to my husband, and I love my children, faithful to my children. And I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a creative person. So I just want to create things. And so I wrote a book, which was part of the creative process. And then I started a
Hmm.
podcast about my book and about other family issues, things that are plaguing us today in our society. And I don't go political on it or anything like that. It's just moms talking, and I bring in people that are interesting to just their stories are like incredible. And I'm like, oh my God, I want them to come on because they're almost like teaching me things. I'm learning so
Hmm.
much, and I'm learning, and I'm like opening my mind to different things. And I do push back whenever I don't believe in something, or I feel as though that's pushing the envelope a little bit, or I don't know if I believe you or not. But
For sure. Yeah.
yeah, I just feel like, a lot of people, they just want to listen to somebody that sounds like them. And I feel like I ask the questions that I think people are wanting to know. And I have on guests that I feel like people would be interested in listening to. But back to my book. Um, I start off the book. Okay, so get this. I start the book off. My parents were dropping me off at a drug rehab. Okay. And
Mm.
I've never, not even to this day, have ever done drugs ever. But back in the day, they drop you off, and then the parents left. They went away, and I was stuck there in a drug rehab with drug addicts. And don't get me wrong, I mean, through the lens of a 16-year-old, it was like I was in jail basically.
Yeah.
And and I hadn't done, I mean, I was a school photographer. I played cross country, track, and basketball. I was in the yearbook. I wrote for the newspaper. I was doing I was one of the office, like a rally commissioner, like I would put on all our rallies for the school. I mean, I did a lot of stuff and I was a go-getter, and my parents just thought I was a drug user. And I'm like, whatever. Dude.
Mhm.
And so that's where the book starts off. And then I talk about a lot of things that happen to you as you grow up through the 70s, 80s, and 90s and 2000s. I just had a birthday yesterday, or no, excuse me,
Well, happy
Saturday.
birthday.
Thank you. And I'm probably quite older than you, but so I was born in 73. And so I can talk about, what it was growing up as a little girl in the 70s and then the 80s and 90s and 2000s and where I am today. Um, you know, I have, I was teased a lot because I have a lazy eye. You can't see it because of the glasses and the glare and all the makeup and everything. But when I was born with a lazy eye, and the kids would call me Popeye. And it was like,
Mm.
which sucked because I love Popeye. It was like my favorite cartoon, one of my favorites. And so, but so one of one of the chapters is called the Popeye Girl, and I talk about my surgeries growing up and everything like that. And it's kind of funny. There's lots of one other thing. My book is super funny. Like you'll laugh, okay, and you'll cry,
Mhm.
and you'll be like, "No way, that did not happen. No way, she's lying." But I'm
Mhm.
Bible. I'm telling you, it's God's honest truth. I talk about my neighborhood. I come from a small town, so the neighborhood is like we all like really know each other very well, and it's called
Mhm.
Park Circles. I talk about my Park Circle friends. I went to private school, so I talk about the nuns. Man, they were. Can I say they were dicks? Sorry, they they smacked me around. If I spit on
Mhm.
the ground, like I got smacked across the face, because I spit in the grass. Like if I spit in the grass, I got in trouble. So true. But I played guitar and I was in the choir and the church choir and everything. So I talk about a little bit about all that. Growing up Catholic. Uh, and then my mom had an issue. We got in the fight with the school, and my mom plucked me out and put me in public school with my friends from the neighborhood. And so
Mhm.
I talk about all that, and girls wanted to beat me up all the time. I got kicked in the face
Mm.
for no reason. And the girl, her last name was Fight, by the way. Rosalie Fight was
Wow.
her name. And stop me if you ever want me to stop, but I can keep going.
No, you're
Okay.
good. Mm.
Okay. Okay. So then in high school, I wouldn't say I was not popular. I was pretty popular. I mean, my brother was there and all the girls thought he was cute, and he was popular. So I was popular because he was. But also I was and also I knew all of his friends because I grew up with them playing baseball.
Mhm.
I was anyways, Little League was a big thing in our town, and I was a part of it. And so I knew all of his friends. They came over swimming, and we played hot box. I don't know if you know what that is. It's when you throw the ball back and forth, and you have a runner in the, which is always me. I'm running in between, and if they tag you, you're out. It's kind of like, when
Okay.
you're between first and second and you're like trying to catch the runner. We
Mhm.
called it hot box. And
Okay, I got.
so I played, it wasn't playing in the dirt with crawdads in the ditch or playing with my brother. I was playing Barbies and house. So I was a tomboy that wanted to be a mom and a wife.
Mhm.
And that was the only thing that I ever wanted to be, which is weird.
Mhm.
A lot of people want to be a fireman or a police officer or a doctor, and I'm like, I just want to be a wife and a mom. Like that's all I wanted to be. I didn't have any like aspirations or anything. I In high school, there's one of my chapters is called "I Just Had to Do It." I had a three
Mhm.
o'clock. You know that movie 3 o'clock High, or where they have a fight at 3 o'clock and everyone's gonna like they're fighting. That was me,
Yeah.
and it was a huge thing in my school, and I beat the crap out of her, by the way. But um I talk
Good.
about it in
That's
the book.
good.
Actually one of my funnier chapters. I really love the chapter. It's really funny. And then I do talk about losing my V card.
Mm.
The I talk about that. It's funny. It's funny. It's not terrible. It's funny. And then I have I have a story in my book called My God Story. And I say this is so true, and I swear when you read it, you will not believe a word of it. But my girlfriend, she convinced me to go to Utah from California, and I did. There's a lot of things that go around why. Well, on the way home, I'm terrible. I swear. I would get lost in my own neighborhood. So she falls asleep in the back seat, and I take the wrong freeway, and I end up in Idaho.
Wow.
So I was supposed to go the other way, and I ended up in Idaho, and we had no money. And where we landed is so unbelievable that I can't even explain. But we were helped. We were two little lost lambs, and we made it back to California unscathed. And so,
Mm,
but I talk about it in the book. It is really, really interesting. It is absolutely 100% true. Then my high school. Okay, first, my car caught on fire and exploded into I barely made it out alive. It was just like in the movies where this guy's carrying me like as if he's carrying me across the threshold. He's like carrying me to the curb. And we both look back, and my car boom blows up in like a mushroom cloud, and it was crazy. And I talk about that, it's crazy. And then my high school had a shooting. We were one of the very first shootings in America, really. Back in 1992, before Columbine, there was the Lyndhurst High School shooting. And the reason why we didn't get a lot of notoriety at the time is because, one, the news cycle now is just insane, right? Like every 24 hours, something crazy is going on, and we all know about it, right? But
yeah.
in back then, the Rodney King verdict was the 29th of April, and then there was riots, and the next day there was riots, and then the next day was my shooting. And so we kind of
Oh,
took
wow.
back page to what happened in this. One of our friends, he went to school with us. He graduated 2 years before me. Came to our school armed, intending to kill a teacher that didn't pass him in civics, and he did kill the teacher. He killed 3 of my friends and shot like 9 to 10 others, and we're talking like shot, brutally shot. Um,
Mm,
and then he held 80 of my friends hostages for like 12 hours in the school. And he would send people downstairs because he brought everybody up to the second level, and he said, you go down there and you find kids that are hiding, and if you don't come back, I'm going to shoot your friend. And so they had to decide, am I going to bring back somebody? Am I going to go back and say I didn't find them, or are they going to leave because there's no way he could have caught them if they just ran out the door? So
mm,
these 14, 15, 16-year-olds had to decide, this big decision after just seeing people being murdered right in front of them. And anyways, I talk about this in my book. It's called Forever Living with PTSD, because all of us still can't get over it. I mean, we're getting over it, don't get me wrong, but we do remember every year, and it brings you to tears because
mm-hmm.
it was just a sad thing. They did do a movie, Ricky Schroeder, which is probably way before he was in the show Silver Spoons, which is probably way before your time. But and Freddie Prinze Jr. and Henry Winkler. Henry Winkler was the Fonzie from Happy Days. He was in the
Mm-hmm.
movie. So there is a movie out there, and I think it's The Siege at Johnson High. It had like 2 titles. Something Rage, and then but you can find it on Prime, Amazon Prime.
Okay. I'm about to
And
look for that.
yeah, and nobody from my high school can actually watch it. I've seen it one time, and I can't watch it anymore. And my friend, I just did an episode with one of the survivors, and she said she has to watch it in sections. Like she can't watch it all at once. She has to watch it in
Mm,
sections because it's just too hard. But I talk about that in my book.
mm-hmm.
I also there's some other things in I don't even want to mention, but that are pretty terrible that happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the book. I had a Jerry Springer wedding because my family can't get over themselves to let me have a freaking day, a special day. It was freaking crazy, but it doesn't matter. My husband and I are still married. So we got married in the church that my grandmother ran that my grandfather built. So it's kind of cool.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
cool.
And then after all that, I started one of the largest preschools in Bakersfield from my living room, and it ended up being $1 million business,
Yeah.
which is crazy, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
it was a preschool called Creative Kids with a K and a Z on the end of kids. It was cool. And but then I opened it during the worst time. I mean, I had built it up for my living room, so it was a family daycare, and then I went to a church and bought the ability to rent from the church. And I had a church location and a family daycare. So I had about 52 kids, 62 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a staff of like 8 and a cook. And so I was running that for a while, doing really, really well. And then somebody said, "Hey, I have a location that your school would be perfect for. I'll build the shell, which is $4 million, and you pay for the inside and the play yard." So the building was 10,000 square feet and the play yard was 30,000 square feet. And so I got a SBA loan, because when you're a girl, you can get a loan pretty easy. When you're not pretty easy, but I did have to create a business plan all on my own. And at the time I didn't have a degree, and I just Googled it. And so I got a loan for $700,000 and opened a school. But it was during 2008 when the downturn of our economy was going into the crapper.
Yeah.
And so it was doing good for a while. And I opened the school with 140 kids on day one because I pre-sold everybody. And then, people were losing their jobs. So when dad stays home, they don't need daycare because daddy's the daycare, basically. They don't need me. So I went from 188 families to 88 families, and I was injecting my own money so that my teachers wouldn't lose their job. And I didn't want to lose my teachers. I loved them, and I wanted them, I didn't want them to be without a job, especially when the economy is doing so terrible and it was hard for them to get a job. And then my daughter was born in need of a open heart surgery. And so with that, and then my landlord I think he was pouncing on me because he knew I was in a vulnerable state. He knew I was struggling financially with the school and with my daughter. He offered to buy the school, and I took him up on his offer. But now I went back. I got my MBA not too long ago. Had I known what I know now, I would have done something to save my school from the clutches of this crazy fanatic. His guy's a lunatic. I don't even know why I sold him the damn school, because it was like a knife in my heart, because my school was my baby, you know what I mean? But I was focusing on my child, her special needs, and now we know she has way more than just the heart problem. She's got a lot of problems. And so I needed to be there for my kids. God has a plan for us all. And so I'm just walking in I'm just trying to follow his lead. I swear, God shows you things, and sometimes you just got to open your eyes, and you just got to, accept what he's putting in front of you as what he wants for you. And so I feel as though the school, I sold it, and there was a reason for it. So, but I do talk about how I built the school. I call it domination by determination, and that's been my motto. You got to just say, I want to do something, and you just got to do it. I wanted to write a book, right? So what did I do? I just freaking did it. The only person that's stopping you from doing things in your life is your damn self. You know what I'm saying? So take that weight off your shoulders. Let yourself just be okay if I fall down, if it doesn't turn out great, but give it a try, because, you don't win. You win 0 chances on all the times that you don't take the chance. You know what I'm saying? You win 0 times. Does that make sense?
For sure. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, what is your book called again? I don't know if you said that, but what is your book called?
I probably didn't, because I'm just yammering on, because that's what I do.
It's fine.
Okay. It's
you're
called
like one of my
Bucket List
favorite.
from a Redneck Girl. Bucket List from a Redneck Girl. And it's got pictures in and around the book. And I actually did the cover myself, because I'm retentive, and I'm also a what do you call it when you have to do everything on your own? like I'm just I just felt like I needed to be the creative on the whole thing. I didn't want somebody going, "Oh, I can make this look so pretty." Like, no. I wanted it to look like, you know how you throw your pictures on the floor and they're all just like a smattering of pictures. I kind of wanted that feel on the cover. So it's just pictures of my life. So if you get the book, you'll get to see me in all stages, the ugly parts, the pretty parts, and the in between parts. So
Now, I do have to ask you, because it caught me when I looked at your profile on this is on Podmatch. I use Podmatch and you use Podmatch, and I seen the title Redneck Girl, and I was like, sometimes like I'm from Tennessee. I'm not from Tennessee, but I live in Tennessee, and I'm like, sometimes my conversation can go good, and sometimes like not so good. But so I was like, but I saw the rest of your profile and was like, I kind of want to talk to her. I think she's a cool person. But what does redneck like? What does redneck girl mean to you when you say I'm a redneck girl?
I
What does
know,
that mean to
I
you?
know it. I don't want people to think that I'm out there with pitchforks and torches. I'm not. That's not what redneck means to me. So sorry. That's not very nice to say. But okay, so I live in a farming. I lived in a farming town. A lot of California is
Mm,
farming a lot throughout all of it, but I
mm,
lived in a farming town, and when it came to where I lived, Linda and Olivehurst, and compared to where, because we were always considered the second class citizens of our area.
mm,
We were
mm,
like the less than, we were the low end or the low income, or we were just not considered as much value as the other Marysville, Yuba City areas. And so
mm,
I can't say, I didn't want to call myself white trash, but so so I'm using I use redneck because that is what a farmer is. They're like rednecks. They're like people that are farming. And the reason why their neck is red is
mm,
because they're out in the sun all day working on the farm.
mm,
So
mm.
that is why I called it a redneck girl. Yeah. Does that make sense?
No, it definitely does. I mean, I hear people ask that if I talk to a lot of people, but sometimes I just want to ask, like, why do you call yourself a redneck? Or what does that mean to you? Like, I know,
Yeah.
like, when you not give yourself an identity, but you identify with a certain like community. What does that mean to you? And
Yeah, I don't
um,
necessarily identify like legit. I moved away from my community the moment I turned 17. Like I was before I was 18, I moved out of my house.
mm,
And I talk about it in the book too. I was like, could not get away from this small town. But now I'm older and I'm like, I want to move to a small town.
mm,
And actually I want to move to Tennessee. I
okay,
just I've kind of, the only reason why I'm still in California is because the weather. I love the weather. Can't get away from the weather. The weather is freaking nice. But I don't necessarily identify with, you know what community I identify with? The mom community. I'm like, I'm a mom, I'm a wife. I work two jobs. I've always worked two jobs. I talk about that in my book. I work two jobs,
mm,
and I do a podcast, and I wrote a book, and I do a load of
mm,
laundry. What I have to go change over when we're done here, and I don't necessarily. And in fact, I always say I started my podcast because I want to make friends because I have zero friends because the only people that I associate myself with is my family, and maybe my couple coworkers, but not even really. And so I don't really have like a friend group anymore, except for the Facebook friends from
mm,
high school. Like, we
yeah,
we back and forth pictures and Facebook, but I don't have anybody coming over for, football games and brunch,
mm,
but
yeah,
no, I don't necessarily say that I belong in a, I don't know. Everybody, when you think of a redneck person, they think of them in different ways. Someone
mm,
that's
mm,
maybe white trash might not be a redneck. Somebody that's a redneck might just be somebody that's a construction worker, or could
mm,
be, someone that is a blue collar worker and is just, you know, always working the grind, grinding the, how do you say that? Grinding the grindstone. I don't even know how to say that. I'm
yeah,
I'm using a phrase I can't
yeah.
think of. Blonde moment.
I would say
Um,
I'm not a big country person. Oh, I was gonna say I'm not a big country person, but one time I do like to. I like tequila. I like cigars with tequila. So I had too much tequila one night, and they were playing country music, and it wasn't country enough for me. And I was like, I love my country blue collar. If it don't sound blue collar, I don't like it.
Country's kind of got a blues. I mean, a blues in it because it's so woes
Mm-hmm.
me all the time. You know what I mean? It's kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually listen to country music. Sorry,
I'm not a big
my
fan of it,
husband.
but I was just yeah.
I don't, but my husband's starting to listen to a little bit of it. He goes, "This is actually pretty good stuff," because he's hairband kind of guy, and I like.
Yeah.
I'm an old school folk kind of. I like
Okay.
rhythm. I don't know how to, I listen to Stevie B and TLC. And I
Mm,
mean, I
okay.
listen to certain different things than in my husband. But then I also love, and back in the day, it was called classic rock for me. For the youngsters
Mm.
now, it's probably really super old. But I like classic rock. Like,
Mm.
I really like, you know what I really like listening to now? It's so, I hate to say this because this is not doesn't sound good, but it's so white girl of me. I really like yacht rock radio on XM. I just do.
Okay. I
I
never heard
love
that. Yeah.
listening to like that um sailing, take me away to where I'll always be.
Okay.
Like I'm like,
Okay.
I can listen to that while I'm cleaning the house. This is nice. So I mean, I guess I but anyways, I can't stand country. I've never gone to a country concert. My husband drags me to every hair band concert. Like, we're going to see the Gin Blossoms in November, but we've seen pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I have to see Cinderella one more time, I'm just gonna freaking die. Or the
Well,
Cult. That's his favorite.
if you move to Tennessee, you're gonna have to get used to that country music because I'm from Maryland and I'm like I moved I went to school here in Cleveland, Tennessee, and then I moved to Pennsylvania about an hour outside where I'm from. And I tell you because I miss Tennessee so much, I actually listen to country music because it like made me miss like Tennessee so bad. I was like, I listen to so much country music, I don't know what to do with myself. Like country music and worship music is like everything here. And
I
I
love worship
literally,
music.
yeah, I do too. I literally um, just got to go to the Grand Ole Opry about 2 weeks ago. I had a buddy. Um, he was one of the singers there, and I got to go and see that. So I've been in Nashville a couple times, but going to the Grand Ole Opry was like it was my first time. It was a cool experience. And I like that.
That's cool.
It was a little bit of
I
like
mean, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't. Maybe if I moved to Tennessee, I may not jive with people from Tennessee. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I
well,
guess maybe I will. But who knows? I don't know. I don't know.
it's
They may
it's
not like me because I'm obnoxious. I like to talk. They may not like it. I don't know. Just
you know what I
saying.
mean. If you're funny, it don't matter if you like to talk or not. You can make people laugh; they don't care. But yeah,
Yeah, I always say, just saying. I'm just saying, and that's the name of my
I just
podcast too. It's Jess saying. So
yeah, I see that, and I say that too. I'm just saying like you have to take it, but that's my opinion. I don't know. When I actually get my opinion, I'm actually more quiet. I talk more on my podcast. Like I said, I don't even know why I have a podcast because I don't talk that much. But
my friends from high school, they even put in the yearbook that I'm
mm,
most likely to become Steven Spielberg in
mm,
my senior yearbook. Yeah, because I went around, and if you go to my YouTube channel, I think you can find it on there. But my video yearbook for high school, and I went around with, well, back in the day, video cameras were really big, and they're like on your shoulder, like. And
yeah,
I went
mm,
around like really big, and they had like a big microphone in front. And I went around and I videotaped everybody my senior year,
mm,
and I put together a movie or like a video of the year. I put it to music that came out in the year we graduated, 91. And
mm,
so all the music, it's cool. It's funny. You get to see how the kids were dance. And I come from a huge melting pot high school. Like,
okay,
we had every race under the sun, and we were all friends. And so
mm,
it's hard and we talk about this. Some of my friends were like, we talk about how people are having race issues and stuff, but it's hard for us because we didn't grow up that way. And we were friends
Mm,
with just everybody. We were all friends. And in fact, the girl that I got in a fight with, one of my good friends, Tony, she says, you touch my girl, because someone was going to jump in to save her friend because I was beating the crap out of her. And so
mm.
Tony says, like, you touch my girl Jessica, I swear I'm gonna kick your ass. So I have people going to jump in, to kick some butt. I'm just saying that
Mm,
we're all friends. And so it's hard
yeah,
for us because didn't grow that. We weren't raised that way to like have hate in our heart for other people just because of their skin color. So I don't
I
know. Does that make
I think
sense?
yeah. So I'm trying to think of so growing up, like obviously I I can speak from my experience. Like no matter what color you were, like we were all friends and we grew up in the same town and we hung out. For me, it wasn't until we were older and then people kind of got into their I guess beliefs and stuff like that. Because growing up, I see things. I'm like, good lord, like I see like we grew up. We played. I'm in a wheelchair, but I grew up and just like everybody else, people saw me. Like we don't see you in a wheelchair, which is a whole different story. But it's just like now, like we have political differences, which is fine. I don't mind having political differences as long as it doesn't result in hate on either side. Like I love everybody. I enjoy it. Only time I have a problem is when is considered hate. But like besides that, like I get along with everybody. And growing up, it seemed like we were all friends until we got a little older, and then our identities of who we were, I think, took hold, and
Yeah,
people just drank
I
that.
can understand what you're saying. I totally can see
Mm,
what you're saying, but I feel
mm,
as though deep down in the heart of if you were raised right, deep
yeah.
down you just I see what you're saying though. It's hard. I'm not stupid. I'm going to open my eyes. I do see that it's happening all
Mm,
over America. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
But in my heart, it doesn't happen. And in my household, it's not like that. Where
mm,
I grew up in my family and in my household with my husband, we are not like that. So I can only speak for myself and my friends in high
yeah.
school that I'm still friends with. And,
Mm,
it's weird though. What's going on in America, it's chilling and it's
mm,
scary. And I just don't talk about this stuff on my podcast because, um, you know, I am an educated person. I do watch the news a lot
mm,
actually, but I don't want to opine on something that I'm not an expert in. So I don't want to be on a podcast, not yours. I'm just saying me, as in like with what I'm doing on my podcast, to talk about politics because I'm not an expert in it. And I don't want to give false
yeah.
information that I might be talking smack about how I feel or what I heard and it not be
No.
right. And then I don't want to swipe somebody in the wrong direction. And I don't want to be doing some fake news shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be like fake newsing them. But I don't mind talking. I don't mind. I do agree with you that, the culture today is it's intense and scary in
Yeah.
some ways.
It is, and it is scary. And sometimes I don't think about it, and I don't on my podcast. I don't talk about politics and religion in a way of like recruiting people, I guess you say. But like if it's your
Yeah, yeah,
experience,
yeah.
then
Mm,
you could talk about God and things like that in your experience, but like not in a, like a root way or politics.
right.
Like no matter what side, I don't allow people to know what side I fall on because first of all, it's nobody's business. It's your life, and like I said, as long as you don't have hate in what you do, I'm fine with that. Like we can disagree, we can agree and disagree. I don't have even in my outside world. Even if I agree, I still don't like having conversations with you sometimes because it's
Right.
just not my
Do you
thing.
know that I think that my title of my
Mm,
book would turn people away. And I never really thought about it until after I actually tried to get somebody on my podcast. And she said,
mm,
I was going to be on someone's podcast. And she said, I can't be a party to your book because the word redneck. and
Mm.
she said that it gave off a negative connotation and something else about me, that I was white. And I just thought to myself, damn it, I didn't ever really thought of it that way when I used the word for my title. And it was too late now because the book's out, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. But I was like, damn it, I didn't even think that that would affect somebody and not want me to be on her podcast because the name of my book had the word redneck in it. But I'm not like, I'm not wearing
Well,
overalls, and I'm not,
yeah.
I'm not out there. I don't know how to explain it.
Well,
I can't.
like I said earlier, when I asked you about what it means to be a redneck girl or whatever like that, because I did read it and I was like, sometimes it makes me read a little bit more into the profile, but I was like, because I'm very cautious about things like that, but at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? Kind of want to hear a story anyway. I don't care. Um, and sometimes like
Hopefully I didn't disappoint.
no, you did. You didn't disappoint at all. I've
Okay.
enjoyed the conversation and everything, but but like I think sometimes you have to. There have been people that I read their profile and I'm like, nah, I definitely can't have this person on my podcast. I'm pretty like I love conversations with people, but I want to have a nice like. One of the reasons why I do my podcast is because I enjoy having a conversation with people that don't share the same background as me. Prove to people that we can still come from different sides of the world and have a cool conversation and get along and laugh and joke. And sometimes my conversations are serious, sometimes they're playful, but I enjoy that conversation. Like without all that other stuff in there, we everybody can be friends pretty much. I just say like everybody's not everybody a cup of tea, but we can enjoy each other's conversation if we just respect each other. So like,
Right.
but I guess to each his own. Like I love to have that conversation, that dialogue with people. But I was like, I have
Yeah.
to ask her about that.
No, I totally respect that. I mean,
Mm,
um, and in fact, I love your podcast because it is conversational and we can go off on different things, or, whatever comes to mind. And we're not speaking robotically. We're speaking like what comes to our mind and our hearts. And I think that's important. I try to, I have a daughter with special needs, and she's got cerebral
mm,
palsy, and she has a heart issue, and she has an intellectual disability, and
mm,
she has a tumor now that she has to, she's growing on her back, and then she needs surgery, and she's just, there's so many things with my poor little daughter. And
mm,
but I do on my podcast try to bring in the disability aspect of being a mom that's navigating through a child with special needs, or how one of my guests said, complex kids, which I love
mm,
that term. I think I'm going to start using it. And I think there's moms out there that have a hard time navigating being a mom where you have a kids and they're young and they just don't know what to expect when they're teens. Or I can give a perspective on a mom that's been caring for actually both of my kids, that have, my son has autism, and my daughter now, she was just diagnosed with autism at 15. When she was younger, she did all kinds of weird things, and we're like, oh, she's just so cute. And then when she gets to be 15, it was like, not so cute. And so the doctor did diagnose her with autism recently. So that's something we're learning to navigate through. And don't forget to buy my book, Bucket List from a Redneck Girl. My podcast is Just Saying. You can reach me on my website, justsaying.net. That's JESSSAYING.net. And I'm on all the social media. So do all the social media things. Go there, and I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on X, I'm on Instagram, TikTok. Please like, subscribe, follow, heart me. And Lucas, it was really fun being on your podcast. And I just really appreciate you allowing me the platform to talk about my book, talk about my show, and just go out there and get my book, Bucket List from a Redneck Girl. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, or anywhere you can buy a book. It's probably there too. All right. Thank you. I'm a mom navigating through taking care of our kids with special needs. And on my podcast, I try to bring those things to light. And I think there's other parents out there that are just starting to go through it. And if I can be a beacon of light and hope that there is, you will get to the other side. They will be teenagers one day, and then
Mm-hmm.
what that looks like. And so I do bring an element of that in my podcast, along with other things. And yeah. Now, my daughter, she's sweet. She's the one that would be pushing the girl in the wheelchair around the play yard, and running as fast as she can and be like, let's
Mm-hmm.
go.
Mm-hmm.
And she just has got a sweet heart. And she's got a bit terrible heart, actually. It's like she needs heart surgery like every 10 years. So she has a terrible heart, but it's a heart of gold. It weighs heavy on her.
Yes, yes. That's good. It's always good to still have that personality, that sweet personality, even though you're going through something. I know it's, I mean,
Right.
I think about school when you were talking about, high school and growing up. I was reminiscing about my experience, as somebody been in a wheelchair. And um, it is funny, like I always try to put a smile on. And it wasn't until I got older where I like my smile kind of, for a couple of years, my smile disappeared. It was like, I'm tired of, I think I was tired of, not to say I was pretending to be happy, but like it was just like I need a moment to be real, like, and to say that I'm not happy. And
Right.
once I went through that time, and I got my smile back, and it was just like something. I just had to think about some things and realize some things in my life, and I was like, once I embraced it, my smile came back, and I was like, I'm good, and life has always been great. It's just I don't know, but like for a couple of years, I didn't smile. It was like I don't know what's up with him, but like I wasn't.
Right. Like you don't understand why God's doing this to you and why you're
Mm,
having to walk or be in these situations, and
mm,
why things are happening to our America right now, and why
mm,
it's all happening for a reason. And it's hard to understand what his reasonings are, but um things do happen the way they're supposed to happen. And if you just believe in God, and I I'm not trying to coerce anybody in that direction, but I'm just saying that, like, just saying, actually that's my tagline, but I'm just saying that if you believe in Jesus, and things will work out for the best. They're happening for a reason, but you need to believe.
yeah, that's me. I
Yeah.
believe in Jesus, and that he's my hope every day. So I definitely agree with that and all the good things. Well, I don't want to hold you up because you say you got to switch your clothes over
I
to your
know.
dry.
It's my lunch break. I'm on my lunch break.
um,
I don't
but
have any emails right now, so I'm actually okay. So I'm good.
that's
I
good.
mean, I
That's
do get a
good.
lunch, although I eat it right here. I never really
Mm.
do take a lunch break. I actually sit at my desk and work all day long, and that's why I'm a fat girl, because I don't move all day long. I need to move. I am a chubby girl in a skinny girl body.
I
That's
heard
what I am.
that. Well, I have to get in my manual chair and push myself around a lot because I get into my power chair and it just get used to like it's easier sometimes just to do that. So I have to get in my manual chair and push myself around and get active any way I can. So I definitely understand
My
that.
next thing, I need a hover around. I need a chair that I can because I'm so freaking lazy. No, I'm just
I heard that. I heard
I you know
that.
what, I gotta say, I'm glad for my blessings, and I feel I I don't know how to say it without sounding like a dumbass, but I I envy you because you've had monumental struggles, and you're a positive person, and I just think that's amazing. I mean, you're kind of special.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know. It's just in the road. We only got one life to live, and whatever I'm out of town, whatever, like the accessibility that I have, I want to make sure I live my life to the best and the fullest I can. So I'm gonna try to be happy.
Amen. I believe in that.
So, like, my last question is there? what do you want to tell an audience? It could be encouraging. Like this your time to like say something to the audience.
Okay, so don't put things off. Don't say one day I will. You do it today. You make time to do it. Although I say this, and I have a gym that I put in my garage that I am not using, but I'm saying like if to write a book or I don't know, you want to create create a game and you want to get it to what are one of those game peoples? What
Game
like
design?
the
Oh,
people that
I
make
don't know.
Yahtzee?
Yeah.
I don't know. What are the I'm drawing a blank. If you want to do, if there's anything you want to do, you want to be a carpenter or you want to, you want to make a baby furniture or you want to knit, you want to do whatever it is you want to do, the things you want to do, the things you love, don't put them off, do them.
Mm-hmm.
And and what you need to do is, like I said, don't put it off. If you have you think your stories are much better than mine, or you think your stories would hit home to some people, or they might find themselves in your words, put those words on paper and get it out to the public, because you have something to say and it's important. And that's what I thought for myself. I think people will find themselves in my words. They will laugh at me, probably, most likely. But they'll be entertained and they might cry and they might be like, I can't believe this is going on. This can't be true. And I'm just excited for people to read my book, and I want all the feedback, whether it be good, bad, or ugly. You can go to my website and let me know what you think. Go read my book. Give me an Amazon review. Hopefully it's good. Please don't. If it's terrible, that's okay. You can still leave it if it's terrible, but please, try not to. Okay. But you can go to my website. It's jesssaying.net, jesssaying.net. And on my website, you can view a little bit of my shorts, which are like my little videos of my podcasting, a little bit about my book, some pictures of me growing up. And I'm also on TikTok. I'm starting to grow my TikTok. I just been on there 2 months and I'm growing it. I'm also, so that's just saying. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook and all the things. I'm on X, LinkedIn, Jessica Danelle, Danel. Go follow, like, subscribe, do all the things, heart me, whatever. And help me build my community. I'm a new podcaster. You can go to Spotify, iHeart, anywhere podcasting is free. You can probably find my podcast. It's Just Saying with Jessica Danelle. There is somebody else that thought of Just Saying, and I don't know if she's still doing it, but she had claimed the Just Saying, and I added my name because there's nobody out there with with Just Saying with Jessica Danelle other than me. So I don't know if my words of wisdom kind of came off like a blonde. Can't think of a thing to say, but one of my chapters is domination by determination. If you do it, almost like if you build it, they will come. Bible, that is like the best saying ever, because it's so true that if you do it, people will respond. Will respond. You have a voice. You just got to start using it.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Use your voice. You heard her. Use your voice.
Yes.
Your voice matters.
Yes. Come visit me. Come listen to my podcast. If you have ideas for a podcast or you want to be on my podcast, go to my website and let me know.